What company lost you as a customer forever, and what happened? Hertz, because of their AI damage scanners and their policy of blame the driver first and force them to prove the damage was pre-existing. I was a loyal customer for 10 years. Never renting there again. HP, their fucking, pay use to use your printer, bullshit really pissed me off. TD Bank. They pre-approved us for a mortgage, we went out house shopping, found the perfect house, got emotionally attached etc. etc. Nothing changes regarding our income or our jobs. We go to buy the house, and they tell us that due to their error, the mortgage is denied, pulled all of our accounts and have been with Scotiabank, who gave us a mortgage without issue, for the last 20 years. Nestle for being evil. Wizards of the Coast. They're just milking their customers these days. I'm surprised they still have any. BP because of the oil spill. I will pass exits when I am low on gas just to avoid. Comcast lost me after they kept charging for internet I had cancelled and support just ignored me for weeks. Dodge will never get another dime of my money that we owned a 2000 Dodge Caravan, and it was literally the worst vehicle I have ever had the misfortune of owning, or even had personal experience with. It was nothing but problems from the day we bought it. AT&T BC of the harassment by multiple CS reps when changing to another carrier. Bank of America closed my account and had to call them for weeks just to get my money back out of my account. I even went in person and was told it had to be done over the phone. One person did call for me in person but was told that I have to wait even though it been weeks. Tesla. I've never owned one, but never will. Elon is evil and the Nazi salute solidified that. Also the Cybertruck in El Camino is the worst looking vehicle I've ever seen. Walmart. They treat their employees like absolute shit, their business practices are anti-community, and the Waltons already have enough goddamn money. Plus, they've actively engaged in union busting by shuttering profitable stores that successfully unionized. No corporation should be raking in billions in profit while their employees need food stamps. Blue Bell. Knowingly sold contaminated ice cream. People died. Skullcandy officially became blacklisted for me when I'd buy a new pair of earbuds and one of the sides would crap out 2 weeks later. Their headphones are incredibly poorly made and have a ridiculously short lifespan. Airbnb. We had one amazing rental one time in a cozy cabin. Everything about it was perfect, so we kept reserving Airbnbs when we would travel hoping to find a stay like that, but every other reservation was trash, dirty houses, broken locks, asking us to run a load of laundry for our bedding and roll trash cans out on top of cleaning fee. Pfft, never again. Guess that one rental was an outlier. McDonald's. The food sucks, the portions suck, the prices are absurd. But the company's latest obsession with making their dining rooms as unwelcoming as possible pushed me over. Turo. I rented from them in 2023 for a trip to Texas. Picking up the car was a nightmare, as we had to cart 2 screaming kids about a mile away from the airport after flying all day. They wouldn't budge on where to pick it up. Fine. We get to the car, drive it about 2 hours to the small town we were staying in, small, as in we had to drive a couple towns over for groceries, and on the second day notice the registrations are expired. I called Turo and they said they would deal with any law enforcement and would fully refund my money at the end of the trip, as this went directly against their codes of conduct. I said okay. End of the trip comes, I had to walk another mile in the TX heat back to my hotel after returning the car, and called Turo for my refund. They gave me the runaround for an hour. I was livid. Finally, they issued the full refund, around $400, but the entire experience was abhorrent. I will only ever rent from a big-name car rental. Olive Garden. They partnered with a company to put the Zoosk touchscreens with games on every single table at every restaurant the company owns. Zoosk gives Olive Garden a cut of its profits from tricking people into using the Zoosk touchscreen and then adding a hidden charge to their bill. No one at our table played a game on that table tablet. When we received our bill, there was a $3 charge on there for games. When I asked the server to please remove the extra $3 charge, because we did not realize we even triggered a game. She told us that she couldn't remove it and there was no way for the restaurant to remove the charge. Such a shady business practice and partnership, and I have not been to Olive Garden in almost 8 years because I am still mad about that $3. Norton antivirus to my own fault, but I was still pissed. I left auto-renew, checked on my account, so after my subscription ended, they started charging like £90 a year instead of the £30 I'd previously been paying. This happened for 2 years before I noticed. Like I said, totally my fault for not being on top of my shit, but I didn't expect such shitty business practices from a company that's supposed to protect you from scams and stuff. Home Depot, I used to work there. McDonald's lost me when their prices became ridiculously high. I'll admit that I miss fast food. I haven't bought any in at least 2 years. I just refuse. Spectrum Internet, aka Charter, customer for 21 years against my will due to local monopoly, utter dog's hit service for 21 years, had them try to accuse me of stealing a cable box I didn't have, twice, 10 years apart, and if I had billed them even just minimum wage for the hours of my life I spent on the phone with them, they'd owe me thousands. After tax that I was so over their shit that when my wife and I moved about 5 years ago and were house hunting, one of my few absolute deal breakers was if Spectrum was the only high speed available. My realtor thought I was a nut, but I was that invested in giving them the finger, that I would choose my forever home based around them not being the only provider in the area. Been on a different provider since, and in the last 5 years I have had internet go down twice, both times for less than a couple minutes. Spectrum was going to shit daily for hours on end. Never, ever again. McDonald's. This was back in '92. I had just started adulting. I worked my ass off at a very physical job 7 days a week. I spent every last cent I had on repairing my car to have it break down in the middle of the busiest intersection in my hometown on a Friday at rush hour. McDonald's was the closest business I could get to. Keep in mind I was leaving the mechanic when this happened, and it was back before cell phones were in everyone's pocket. I begged the manager to let me call my mom or the mechanic to help me. He said, "I think the payphone out front works." That was the last time I ate McDonald's. Luckily Taco Bell next door was having a radio event for the local classic rock station. The DJ let me use his phone to call for help. This is why to this day I still keep the station in my presets on any car I have. Target for being fascist sympathizers and towing the line for a president that rapes children. Fuck Target. Fuck Trump and all those that support him/GOP. Kellogg's, Campbell's, Target, Stellantis. Those are my 4 absolute blacklisted companies that I will never give a dime to again. Starbucks. I live in Melbourne. I went in there once when they first arrived decades ago to see what the fuss was about and was given a shit coffee that cost way more than the great coffee I could find at the shittest local cafe, and which didn't require wanky American nomenclature. That I was never going to be a Starbucks person, because our local cafes are fucking phenomenal, but Starbucks made it hilarious. I haven't given Apple a cent since they took my click wheel. Turo, some of the renters on there will scam you and claim you did damage to a vehicle. Turo will side with them and then you're out hundreds of dollars. Hasn't just happened to me but other people I know as well. From now on I just rent from the major car rental companies.